What's up, guys? Back with me this year, we got Sabrina Teenage Witch Season 1, Episode 5, A Halloween Story. Okay, so even though it's not Halloween, this takes place in Halloween. So this episode starts off with Sabrina's aunts, who are totally celebrating Halloween. And, Sabrina, she's like, they're like, hey, this is a great tradition. So, and she's like, and she just wants to go to school. So, and they're like, we're not going letting you go to school like that. So they transform. So Bob Smoke comes out this other lady. So then after the intro, we see Sabrina talking to Harvey, and Harvey's like, hey, I got this party, and she's like, oh, okay, I'll be there. And Libby's even invited. So, but unfortunately for Sabrina, her aunts are like, hey, you gotta come to this witch coven thing. And she's like, oh, wait, we do this every year. And she's like, now I gotta be in this. And yeah. So, what she do? Thanks to Salem the cat, she creates a spell that's able to clone herself into, as I call her, Sabrina 2. Because, we already got the main character, Sabrina, so her clone, I will be referring as Sabrina 2. Okay, so Sabrina's able to get Sabrina 2 to talk whatever she wants, and she's like, hey, you gotta go to Harvey's party, and so she gets to put her in a witch outfit, so yeah, so even Hilda tries to use the clone idea, but Zelda sees right through Hilda's clone idea, and and yeah, so they go to this party, we meet Marigold and Marigold's daughter, which, yeah, Marigold's daughter is that she gets to use her witch powers anytime she wants, and she can turn, and her personal thing is that she puts anyone she doesn't like in a jar, which is kind of like, why? And also, what do I think about this Marigold's daughter character? I think that she's not cool. So back at the party. So at the party, Sabrina 2, aka Sabrina's clone, is having a good time when she keeps following Libby around because she's a clone and clones always follow people around. And she's like, hey, why don't we do the streak? And she's like, okay, because she's a clone and she totally thinks it's okay. And she's like, so yeah. And Harvey's like, Sabrina, are you really sure you want to do this? And she's like, okay, because she's a clone. So while that's happening, Sabrina is totally not liking Marigold's daughter, which we don't get. I forget the name, or we don't even get Marigold's daughter names. So yeah, Marigold's daughter put, because her teacher didn't like her, Marigold's daughter put her teacher in a jar. She put her therapist in a jar. This little girl is not cool. Like, I didn't like the little girl at all, because she's just awful. Like she puts every people that doesn't like her in a jar. Like, who does that? Like she's not a cool character. So yeah, so Salem talks to this other girl, other cat person that he knows, and he kind of tells her that Marigold and her wife Harold are breaking up, are divorcing. So it's good news for Hilda, and I think Zelda too, because Hilda's like, yeah, finally or something. And they're like, hey, and they say, oh, so yeah, so they're like, hey, you and husband are breaking up, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, you're just, once everything happens, you're just great, just like Hilda, alone. So yeah, yeah, and Miracle's daughter put Sabrina in a jar because Sabrina didn't like her, which I don't like Miracle's daughter either. So, yeah. I don't like Miracle's daughter either. So, yeah. And Miracle's daughter is even more annoying because when Sabrina gets a card that's able to bring anyone back to life with you written on it for only Halloween, Miracle's daughter's like, I want that, I want that, I want that. And I was like, sorry, you're not getting that. So, and she just throws a temper tantrum for one little card that can bring anyone back to life. So yeah, and Miracle, yeah. So yeah, so Sabrina first used it to bring back one old singer or something back to life, but then she realizes since her grandma has passed, since her grandma passed away years prior before the series, she decides to bring her grandma back, which for this one time, which I thought was really sweet because grandmas are very awesome. So I thought it was very sweet that Sabrina's and yeah, I don't. And she says how she likes Harvey, and she even tells her grandma that she's a witch, and she's like, if your life's happy, then yeah. So yeah, so Sabrina, so Salem has to remind her about Harvey's party, and she's like, oh yeah, Harvey's party. So she has to go back. She has to get Sabrina too, and yeah, and when Sabrina walks out, Sabrina too has all of her clothes in the wrong place, and she's like, Sabrina too, you put your clothes on wrong. And I just thought that was very funny. Yeah, I just thought that was very funny how she put her clothes on wrong. So yeah, yeah, and also for Marigold puts her daughter in a jar because she's been putting people in a jar. So does she deserve it? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, does that wrap up? Yeah, that basically wraps up this episode. Really enjoyed it. It was a very great Halloween episode. Sabrina 2, or Sabrina's Clone, was very funny. Was very funny at the end. Marigold's daughter was just the worst. I could not stand Marigold's daughter. Could not stand her. She was the worst character on this show, besides Libby. Libby's also the worst, but because one, she puts people in a jar that she doesn't like, which of course people wouldn't like someone who won and throws temper tantrums for no apparent reason. So yeah, but I thought the funny with Sabrina Clone putting her clothes on wrong bit was funny. So like, comment, subscribe, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next Sabrina the Teenage Witch.